Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl and today I'm going to read some fairy tales to you and we're going to sing some songs together. First we're going to start with the hello song. Hello, hello, can you clap your hands? Hello, hello, can you clap your hands? Can you stretch up high? Can you touch your toes? Can you turn around? Can you say hello? Hello, hello. Can you stamp your feet? Hello, hello. Can you stamp your feet? Everybody stretch up high. Everybody touch your toes. Turn around. Hello. Hello, hello. Can you clap your hands? Hello, hello. Can you stamp your feet? Good job, everybody. Okay, now I'm going to read a story. It's called The Little Mermaid. It's adapted by Barbara Balzua, and it's illustrated by the Disney Storybook artist, and it's published as a Golden Book in New York. It's a division of Random House. Deep under the sea, the merfolk and sea creatures hurried to King Triton's glistening palace. Ariel, the king's youngest daughter, was going to sing in her first concert, and nobody wanted to miss it. King Triton was settled on his throne. Sebastian, the court composer, tapped his baton and instructed the orchestra to begin. But when the time came to introduce Ariel, she wasn't there. Ariel had forgotten all about the concert. She was miles away, doing what she loved, searching for human treasures with her best friend Flounder. Ariel and Flounder explored a sunken ship. "Have you ever seen anything so wonderful in your entire life?" Ariel asked with a gasp as she held up a silver fork. "Yeah, it's great," Flounder muttered. "Now let's get out of here." Flounder was always a bit nervous about being far from home. Ariel and Flounder swam to the surface to find Scuttle, a silly seagull who claimed to know all about the human world. "This is a dinglehopper," Scuttle said as he examined the fork. "Humans use these to straighten their hair." Just then Ariel remembered the concert. "My father's going to kill me," she cried, and she quickly swam home. When King Triton learned that Ariel had missed the concert because she had gone to the surface, he was furious. He believed humans were dangerous. "You are never to go to the surface again," he commanded. As Ariel sulked and swam away, the king asked Sebastian to keep an eye on his daughter. Sebastian followed Ariel and Flounder to a secret grotto filled with human treasures. "I don't see how a world that makes such wonderful things could be bad," Ariel said to Flounder. Then the little crab overheard Ariel say how much she wanted to be part of the human world. Sebastian was horrified. He tried to talk some sense into Ariel, but it was no use. Ariel swam back to the surface as the ship sailed past. Peeking over the side of the ship, she spotted Prince Eric. The little mermaid couldn't take her eyes off the smiling young man. "He's very handsome, isn't he?" she said to Scuttle. Suddenly, a fierce storm struck. A lightning bolt set the ship on fire, and a huge wave swept Eric into the sea. Ariel managed to pull the unconscious prince to shore. She sang to comfort him until the sounds of approaching humans made her dive back under the water. Eric only caught a glimpse of Ariel's face, but he knew he would remember her beautiful voice forever. The next day, Ariel swam around in a daze. She was in love. King Triton followed Sebastian to his daughter's grotto. He watched in a rage as Ariel sang to the statue of Eric that had fallen from the ship. Contact between the human world and the moral world is strictly forbidden, he thundered. When Ariel confessed her love for Eric, Triton used his trident to destroy all her treasures. Heartbroken, Ariel went to see Ursula, the sea witch. Ursula promised to make the little mermaid human in exchange for her voice. But there was a catch. Eric had to kiss Ariel before the sunset on the third day. If not, you'll turn back into a mermaid and belong to me, Ursula crackled. Ariel was frightened but determined. She agreed to sign Ursula's contract. Ursula ordered Ariel to sing. The little mermaid's beautiful voice was captured in a seashell. Then her tail disappeared. In its place, she had legs. Quickly, Flounder and Sebastian rushed her to the surface and helped her to shore. Ariel was delighted with her new legs, but Sebastian was worried. Should he tell King Triton? The soft-hearted crab knew Ariel would be miserable without Eric, so he promised to help her win the prince's heart. Flounder and Scuttle said they would help too. If you want to be human, you have to dress like one, Scuttle explained. He and Sebastian wrapped Ariel in a ragged old sail. Just then, Eric's dog, Max, bounded across the beach. The prince followed close behind. You look familiar, Eric told Ariel. But when he realized she couldn't speak, he knew that she wasn't the girl with the beautiful voice who had rescued him and sung to him. Eric took Ariel to his palace where his friendly servants cared for her. They cleaned her up and gave her a lovely gown to wear. Ariel looked beautiful when she entered the great hall to join Eric and Sir Grisby for dinner. The prince was speechless. During dinner, Eric and Grisby were amazed to see Ariel comb her hair with a fork. They didn't even notice Sebastian peeking out from her platter. Eric thought Ariel was charming and invited her to spend the next day with him. The following day, Ariel had a wonderful time exploring Eric's kingdom, but there was no kiss. As day turned into night, Eric took Ariel rowing in a lagoon. While they floated, Sebastian, with the help of the other animals, orchestrated a love song. Prince Eric gazed at Ariel. He leaned closer, closer, his lips almost touching hers. And let's find out what happens. Splash! Ursula's nasty eels, Flotsam and Jetsam, tipped the boat over. Eric and Ariel fell into the water before they could kiss. And there was only one day left. Down in her cavern, Ursula was watching everything in her magic bubble. That was too close, she said. It's time I took matters into my own hands. With a nasty laugh, the sea witch transformed herself into a beautiful young woman named Vanessa. Around her neck she wore the seashell that held Ariel's voice. Triton's daughter will be mine, she shrieked. Meanwhile, Eric was on the palace balcony wondering if he would ever find the mysterious girl with the beautiful voice. Suddenly he saw Vanessa and heard her sing with Ariel's voice. The prince instantly fell under her spell. The next morning, Scuttle woke Ariel and congratulated her. He had overheard that Eric was getting married that very day. Ariel was ecstatic until she learned the truth. Eric was marrying Vanessa. The wedding ship departs at sunset, Eric told Grisby, a dull, lifeless voice. Ariel cried. Not only had she lost her true love, she would become Ursula's slave. Once aboard the wedding ship, Ursula laughed wickedly. She thought her plan was working perfectly. She didn't notice Scuttle peeking through the porthole. He saw her true reflection in the mirror and rushed to tell Ariel. The prince is marrying the sea witch in disguise, he cried. They had to stop the wedding. Ariel clung to a barrel and floundered toward her towards the ship. Sebastian raced to find King Triton. Scuttle asked for help from as many friends as he could find. The sun was going down on the third day. They had to move fast. The wedding had already begun, but before Vanessa could say her vows, Scuttle and his friends came to the rescue. Birds yanked Vanessa's hair. Dolphins sprayed her with water. Scuttle pulled the shell necklace from her neck. As the seashells shattered, Ariel's voice flowed back to her. The little mermaid could speak. "Eric," she said at last. Finally, Eric was released from the spell. "You're the one," he exclaimed to Ariel, but it was too late. The sun sank beneath the horizon before they could kiss. Ariel turned back into a mermaid. With a flash of lightning, Vanessa transformed into Ursula and pulled Ariel into the sea. King Triton appeared and ordered Ursula to release his daughter. "She's mine now," Ursula said, showing him the signed contract. "Of course, I might be willing to make an exchange." To save his daughter, Triton agreed to take Ariel's place as Ursula's servant, which was exactly what the Sea Witch had wanted all along. Ariel watched in horror as her father shriveled away. Ursula grew larger and larger. She used the king's trident to stir the waves into violent whirlpools. "Now I am the ruler of all the ocean," she declared. Luckily, Eric had a plan. He climbed aboard a sunken ship that was rising in the waters and steered its jagged bow through the Sea Witch's heart. With a howl, Ursula disappeared, and her spell was broken. King Triton and all the others she had tricked were free at last. But Ariel was a mermaid and could no longer live on land with Eric. King Triton watched his daughter gaze longingly towards the shore and her true love. With a sigh, he touched his trident to the water, and Ariel became human once again. King Triton smiled tenderly as he watched Ariel reunite with Prince Eric, and not long afterwards, Ariel's friends and family cheered at her wedding. At last she was part of the human world she loved, and she would live there happily ever after. Okay, now we're going to sing the Five Little Monkeys song. Five little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." Four little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." Three little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." Two little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." One little monkey jumping on the bed. He fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." No little monkeys jumping on the bed. None fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No monkeys onto bed." Good job singing, everybody. Okay, now I'm going to sing. Now I'm going to read a story. It's called The Three Little Pigs and the Somewhat Bad Wolf. It's by Mark Teague. The publisher is Orchard Books. It's an imprint of Scholastic Incorporated. Once there were three little pigs. They lived on a farm, as most pigs do, and were happy as most pigs are. Then one day the farmer told them that he and his wife were moving to Florida. He paid the pigs for their good work and sent them on their way. "Let's buy potato chips," said the first pig. "Let's buy soda pop," said the second pig. "Let's buy building supplies," said the third pig, who was altogether unpig-like. Reluctantly, the others agreed. The first pig decided to build a straw house. Since straw is cheap, he had plenty of money left over for potato chips. The second pig decided to build a stick house. Sticks are practically free, so he had lots of money left over for soda pop. The third pig decided to build a brick house. She spent all her money on bricks and mortar, but the man at the hardware store gave her a sandwich. Soon the straw house was finished. It was dusty and musty, but the first pig did not mind. He rocked in his hammock and ate potato chips. Soon after that, the stick house was done. It was small and there was no room for a bathtub. But the second pig did not mind. He took a mud bath and he drank soda pop. Brick by brick, the third pig worked on her house. Sometimes the other pigs would come by to watch. They had a wonderful time. Finally, the brick house was finished. It was big, beautiful, and strong. The third pig was very happy. She filled a basket with vegetables from her garden. The next day, a wolf came to town. He was very hungry and somewhat bad. He went to a donut shop, but it was closed. He went to a hot dog stand, but it was locked. Finally, he went to a pizza parlor, but he wasn't allowed in. He left in a very bad mood. Soon he came to his straw house. It smelled like pig. "I like pig," he said, not in a friendly way. He banged on the door. "Who is it?" called the first pig. "The wolf." "Open up or I'll blow your house down." "I think the door is stuck," said the pig. So the wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. "I can't believe that worked," he said. He had never blown down a house before. Quickly, the first pig got on his scooter and he sped away. The wolf moved on, hungry but confident. He came to another house, this one built of sticks. "Same piggy smell," he said. He knocked on the door. "Who is it?" called the second pig. "Wolf, open up or I'll blow your house down." "Trust me," he added, "I've done it before." "I think the door is jammed," said the pig. So the wolf took an enormous breath, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. "I'm amazed that works," he said. Meanwhile, pig number 2 got on his bike and he rode away. The wolf was still hungry, very, very hungry. The hungry wolf came to a beautiful brick house. He noticed a familiar scooter and bicycle, and the house reeked of pig. The somewhat bad wolf rang the doorbell. "Who is it?" called the pigs. "The wolf. Open up or I'll blow this house down." "Oh no," said the pigs. "Not now. We are watching our favorite show." The starving wolf took a humongous breath, and he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed. After the huffing and puffing stopped, the third pig said, "Do you think he is still out there?" The 3 little pigs looked through the window and saw the wolf collapse on the lawn. "Look at the poor guy," said the little pig. "He's exhausted. Maybe he needs some potato chips." The second pig added, "And some soda pop." The 3 pigs revived the wolf with some smelling salts and invited him in. The somewhat bad wolf was embarrassed. "I was so hungry I could not think straight." "Have a potato chip," said the first pig. "Have a soda pop," said the second pig. "Never mind that stuff," said the third pig. "Dinner is almost ready." Since their houses were wrecked, the first two pigs moved in with the third pig. My house, my rules, she said. She made them clean their rooms before they went out to play. The wolf stayed too, but there was no more huffing and no more puffing, and he was hardly ever bad again. Okay, do you want to sing The Wheels on the Bus? Okay, 1 second. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The wheels on the bus go up and down, up and down, up and down. The people on the bus go up and down, all through the town. Driver on the bus says, move on back, move on back, move on back. The driver on the bus says, move on back, all through the town. He's on the bus go where, 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 where. The babies on the bus go where, where, all through the town. He's on the bus go shh, 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 shh. The mamas on the bus go shh, 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 all through the town. And the bus goes beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 the horn on the bus goes beep, 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 all through the town, all through the town. All through the town. Good job singing, everybody. Okay, now we're going to read another story. This is called Princess Tiana and the Royal Ball. It is by Natasha Anastasia Tarpley and illustrated by James Fink. And the publisher is the Disney Press. A crowd of hungry people were lined up at Tiana's palace, waiting for their chance to sample the restaurant's favorite baguettes. It was rumored throughout all of New Orleans that the pastries were magical. They made dreams come true. After all, look at what happened to Tiana. She had become a frog, fallen in love, married a frog prince, and became a real princess. To top it all off, she now owned the restaurant of her dreams. As Princess Tiana looked out over the elegant dining room, Sam, the restaurant's maitre d', handed her an envelope. This just arrived, madam. A moment later, Princess Tiana heard a familiar voice. Yo-ho, Tia. It was Charlotte, Princess Tiana's best friend. I was just out doing a little shopping and I thought I'd say a quick how-do. Tiana rushed to greet her friend. Wait, Charlotte held up her hand. I must greet you proper-like. I know royal protocol, Princess Tiana. She curtsied, sweeping her arm elegantly. Oh, Lottie, stop it, Tiana giggled and pulled Charlotte into a big bear hug. Charlotte's eyes fell on the envelope that Princess Tiana had just received. She plucked it out of her friend's hand. She lifted the envelope to her ear and shook it. Then she ran her fingers along the elegant lettering and carefully inspected the gold seal. If this is what I think it is, you are about to have the thrill of your life, Charlotte said excitedly. Tiana rolled her eyes and began to open the envelope, ever so slowly. Charlotte waited and waited. Open it, she shrieked when she couldn't stand the suspense any longer. Tiana pulled out a fancy invitation. Naveen's mother and father are in town. They're inviting Naveen and me to a royal ball tonight. I knew it, Charlotte exploded. Oh, Tia, do you know what that means? Do you? It's only your first ball to show the world that you are a real live princess, Charlotte explained. Tiana sighed. I know I'm a princess. I don't have to prove it to the world. Of course I know that you're a princess, but this is your moment to shine as Princess Tiana. Charlotte whipped a thick book from her purse. Good thing I always carry this, she said. We got so much work to do. We have to find you a dress, pick out shoes, style your hair. How about we start with lunch? Princesses do need to eat, Tiana said. In just a few moments, the waiter came by. Charlotte wagged her finger. You're not really going to eat that, are you? Why not? Tiana frowned. This is my daddy's famous gumbo. As a princess, you must eat only the best and fanciest cuisine. See, it says right here. Charlotte pointed to a page in the handbook. Tiana sighed. Maybe she ought to give Charlotte's rules a chance. After all, Lottie had been studying this princess stuff her whole life. After lunch, Tiana was ready to do some work. We have a royal ball to prepare for. A royal ball, Charlotte protested. We've got to at least try on a few gowns. Tiana remembered a shimmering gold and cream gown that her mother had made. Then she saw what the handbook said. A princess must always wear a new dress to a ball. But there's no way Mama can make one in time, Tiana protested. But before long, Charlotte had taken her friend to the finest dress shop in New Orleans. Tiana tried on one dress, and then another. And another. Lottie, you dressed me up like a peppermint stick, a pineapple, and a pumpkin, Tiana said. Seems like I'm shopping for dinner instead of a ball. I'll have you know that these are the latest designs from Paris. That's how they say Paris, by the way. Charlotte crossed her arms. A princess must be aware of the latest fashion trends. Just then, Sam burst into the shop, which was just across the street from the restaurant. Sorry, Princess, but we have an emergency. Chef Henry changed the beignet recipe, and the customers are sending them back. The princess set the ball gowns aside and left. Just a second, let's see what the handbook has to say about this. Charlotte called, trailing after Tiana. Chef Henry, what's this about your changing the recipe for the beignets? They are so. How do you say plain? No? The chef replied. I wanted to make them a little fancier. Tiana remembered how her daddy used the simplest ingredients to stir up a pot of something wonderful. Fancy doesn't always mean better, she said. You're right, madam. Chef Henry agreed. Please forgive me. Tiana smiled, but she changed your recipe? A princess would never forgive such behavior. Charlotte blurted out. The handbook says... Lottie, I've had enough of your old handbook, Tiana said. A real princess understands that everyone makes mistakes sometimes. As she spoke, Tiana realized that she didn't need a bunch of silly rules to tell her how to be a princess. All she needed to do was follow her own heart. I'm sorry, Tia. I was just trying to help. Charlotte apologized. I know you meant well, Cherie, Tiana said. She grinned mischievously. Now, do you really want to help? Charlotte nodded. Will you accompany Prince Naveen and me to the ball tonight? Oh, yes, Charlotte clapped her hands together. At the ball, the royal trumpets announced the arrival of Princess Tiana, Princess Naveen, and Charlotte. Princess Tiana floated gracefully into the room, greeting the other guests as warmly as she did the customers at her restaurant. Being a princess came naturally to Tiana. Charlotte taps Tiana's shoulder. There's just one more rule every princess should know. Everybody have fun. Now that's a rule to live by, Tiana said as she danced under the stars. Okay, now we're going to sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some chicks, E-I-E-I-O. Chick, chick here and a chick, chick there. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick, chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O. With a boo-boo here and a moo-moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Chick here and a chick, chick there. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick, chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-I-O. And a quack, quack here and a quack, quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack, quack. Moo here and a moo, moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo, moo. Here and a chick, chick there. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick, chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some pigs, E-I-E-I-O. And an oink oink here and an oink oink there. Here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Here and a quack quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack quack. Here and a moo moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo moo. Here and a chick chick there. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farm he had a dog,
E-I-E-I-O.
with a
Bow here and a bow wow there. Here a bow, there a wow, everywhere a bow bow. Here and a oink oink there. Here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Here and a quack quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack quack. Moo moo here and a moo moo there. Here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo moo. Here and a chick chick here. Here a chick, here a chick, everywhere a chick chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Good job singing, everybody. Okay, the next story I'm going to read is called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's retold and illustrated by James Marshall. The publisher is Dial Books for Young Readers. Once there was a little girl called Goldilocks. What a sweet child, said someone new in town. That's what you think, said a neighbor. One morning, Goldilocks' mother sent her to buy muffins in the next village. You must promise not to take the shortcut through the forest, she said. I've heard that bears live there. I promised, said Goldilocks, but to tell the truth, Goldilocks was one of those naughty little girls who do exactly as they please. Meanwhile, in the clearing deeper inside the forest, in a charming house all their own, a family of brown bears was sitting down to breakfast. Patoo, cried a big old Papa Bear. This porridge is scalding. I've burned my tongue. I'm dying, cried Baby Bear. Now really, said Mama Bear, who was of a medium size, that's quite enough. I know, said Papa Bear. Why don't we go for a spin while the porridge is cooling? Excellent, said Mama Bear. So they got on their rusty old bicycle and off they went. A few minutes later, Goldilocks arrived at the bear's house. She walked right in without even bothering to knock. On the dining room table, there were 3 inviting bowls of porridge. I don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, helping herself to the biggest bowl. Feeling full and satisfied, Goldilocks thought it would be great fun to have a look around. Right away, she noticed a lot of coarse brown fur everywhere. They must have kitties, she said. In the parlor, there were 3 chairs. I don't mind if I do, she said, climbing into the biggest one. But the biggest chair was much too hard, and she couldn't get comfortable. Next, she sat in a medium-sized chair, but that chair was much too soft, and she thought she might never get out of it. Then Goldilocks sat in a little chair, and that was just right. neither too hard nor too soft. In fact, she liked it so much that she rocked and rocked until the chair fell completely to pieces. Now all that rocking left Goldilocks quite tuckered out. I could take a little snooze, she said. So she went to look for a comfy place to nap. Upstairs were 3 beds. I don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, and she got into the biggest one. But the head of the biggest bed was much too high. Next she tried the medium-sized bed, but the head of that bed was much too low. Then Goldilocks tried the little bed, and it was just right. Soon she was all nice and cozy and sound asleep. She did not hear the bears come home. The 3 bears were mighty hungry, but when they went in for breakfast, they could scarcely believe their eyes. "Somebody has been in my porridge," said Papa Bear. "Somebody has been in my porridge," said Mama Bear. "Somebody has been in my porridge," said Baby Bear, "and eaten it all up." In the parlor, the 3 bears were in for another little surprise. Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said Papa Bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said Mama Bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said Baby Bear, "and broken it into smithereens." The 3 bears went upstairs on tiptoe, not knowing what they would discover. At first everything seemed fine, but then Papa Bear lay down on his big brass bed. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," he cried, and he was not amused. "Agate," cried Mama Bear, "somebody has been lying in my bed." "Look," cried Baby Bear, "somebody has been lying in my bed, and she's still there." "Now see here," roared Papa Bear. Goldilocks woke up with a start, and her eyes nearly popped out of her head. But before the bears could demand a proper explanation, Goldilocks was out of the bed, out the window, and on her way home. "Who was that little girl?" asked Baby Bear. "I have no idea," said Mama Bear, "but I hope we never see her again." And they never did. Okay, do you want to sing another song? We're going to sing "If You're Happy and You Know It."
If you're happy and you know it,
Clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet.
stomp, stomp.
If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. Stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet.
Stomp, stomp.
If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! You know it, 2 or 3, clap your hands, stomp your feet, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, 2 or 3, clap your hands, stomp your feet, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, 2 or 3, clap your hands, stomp your feet, hooray! Good job, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to my Storytime program today. I'll see everybody soon. Bye.